Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. In our top story, Hurricane Irma is still churning out there. Standing by, we have Mark Mancuso in the News 2 AccuWeather Center with the latest. Mark?
Hi, Sandy. Our big story continues to be dangerous Hurricane Irma. Here we see it churning out across the central Atlantic. Still very far away from our area. Plenty of time to watch it, but unfortunately, this looks like will remain a powerful hurricane over the weekend as it moves west. Early next week, it will be approaching the Leeward Islands. Looks like by midweek, could be a problem here. I'll have more on Irma later in the show.
Thanks for that, Mark. Well, VITEMA's Director Mona Barnes is encouraging the community to closely monitor weather reports on Hurricane Irma and be ready in the event the U.S. Virgin Islands is placed under hurricane watch or warning. She says although there is still some uncertainty with the track of Hurricane Irma, now is the time to make sure you are ready. Here's more from the director.
All information that we receive from the National Weather Center, and so we depend on them to give us an update. However, for the past 2 days, I have been in touch with the National Weather Service at least 2 times a day, as well as FEMA, the Caribbean Area Division in Puerto Rico, and we are taking a very close look at this. They can view the track of Hurricane Irma through the National Hurricane Center. Any questions or concern you may have, you can call the offices in St. Croix 773-2244, in St. Thomas 774-2244, and in St. John 776-2244.
Now, one way you can prepare is, of course, to get your hurricane kit together, and many residents were out doing just that. Many hit the popular stores on St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John to stock up on all the essential items needed for a storm. Some store shelves were even empty at some points, but restocked as soon as possible by the clerks. Lines were very, very long. Many were purchasing items for their disaster supply kits, which includes flashlight, batteries, first aid supplies, medications. They say keep cash and copies of your critical information in your kit if you need to evacuate. In addition to having a kit, you should also have a family emergency plan. Know where to go if you're ordered to evacuate, know the local hurricane evacuation route, and have a plan for where you can stay. Now, a hurricane watch, that means conditions possible within the next 48 hours. Hurricane warning, conditions are expected within 36 hours. Be sure to count to 2. We will keep you updated. The American Red Cross of the VI initiated today their preparedness plan due to the possible impact of Hurricane Irma in the Virgin Islands. Also, the organization called on all families to prepare and have their plan in place, emergency plans. As part of the preparedness steps, the Red Cross implements the verification of all their equipment and supplies. They verify volunteer availability and initiate conversations with emergency response agencies. They said besides being in the peak of the hurricane season, September is also known for being National Preparedness Month. And with the threat of a strong hurricane, now is the time families need to come together and prepare. That's according to Lee Vanessa Feliciano, who's the regional executive of the American Red Cross Caribbean region. Now, the Red Cross has a free application called Emergency for iPhone and Android phones. With this app, you say, the user can monitor conditions in their area of their loved ones, have access to preparedness information, and let loved ones know they are safe after an emergency. You can search for the Red Cross Emergency app. It's available in English and Spanish in the App Store and Google Play Store in iPhone and Android phones, respectively. For more information, you can visit redcross.org/prepare. Now, many were participating in a panel discussion today about preparedness. It was presented by the SBDC VI Small Business Development Center and Niski Center, especially for persons with disabilities. Now, the next one of these discussions will be held on St. Croix at the VI Small Business Development Center in Scion Farm. You must register. Call 776-4303.
I think we've had a lively discussion. A lot of questions came up. The Territorial Emergency Operations Plan was presented, as well as Red Cross made a very well prepared presentation as to the interaction of Red Cross with the government of the Virgin Islands, and I think a lot of questions were addressed and suggestions were given as to how persons with disabilities can more interact with the government and express their needs and come into the hurricane season.
Because one of the areas of the DD Council is to ensure that people with disabilities are included in the community, are integrated, they have the ability to be independent and make the decisions that affect their lives. And disaster preparedness is one of the areas that the disability councils throughout the states and territories are looking at and ensuring that they can be included. So if you have a disaster, they're prepared to either be with the families or, if necessary, go to a shelter in the area that they live in.
Well, some Coast Guard news. Effective 1 p.m. Thursday, the Coast Guard captain of the Port San Juan set Port Condition 4 for Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. During Port Readiness Condition 4, port facilities are currently open to all commercial traffic, and all transfer operations may continue until further notice. At this time, Coast Guard captain of the Port San Juan anticipates setting Port Readiness Condition Whiskey on Sunday, September 3rd at 10 a.m. for the U.S. Virgin Islands and 8 p.m. for Puerto Rico. These dates and times, they say, are subject to change based on future forecasts. As Hurricane Irma continues to develop, Coast Guard officials in the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, they are encouraging the maritime community and boating public to monitor its progress and make early preparations this Labor Day weekend to protect themselves and their vessels. Securing vessels prior to landfall of a hurricane, they say, is one of the first steps to prepare. Mariners should take precautions to ensure their personal safety should a storm or hurricane approach. You can go onto the Coast Guard websites for some safety tips. Shania Hanley planned an entertainment event to entice residents to sign up for her Juve troupe early this month. But after Hurricane Harvey hit Texas, where Shania once resided and still has family and friends at, Shania is changing up her event to help raise funds on St. Croix for flood victims. Here's more.
So when I first came up with the idea to assist, my first thought was, who am I going to use? I say that because I want to make sure that I use the right channel to help. I know everybody is eager to help, but I want to make sure that I'm using a credible, outlet. I reached out to United Way. I spoke to the CEO, Mr. Dadlani. We had a very thorough conversation because initially I wanted to do physical items, clothes, foods, and so forth. But after speaking with him and understanding that, the logistics behind getting those items to Texas would be kind of difficult, we settled on doing a monetary pop-up. Once the money is collected, I will sit down with Mr. Dadlani and his staff. We will, tally up all the monies and the funds, and then that monies will be sent to Texas through United Way.
Meanwhile, the flooding in southeast Texas has officially been declared a public health emergency. Floodwater isn't just rain. It often contains sewage and chemicals along with sharp or dangerous objects. It can also carry diseases that can cause stomach problems and diarrhea. And you don't have to drink it or be in it. Just using an item that has been submerged in flood water can make you sick. Exposure can also increase a person's risk for skin rashes, ear, nose, and throat problems, and conjunctivitis. Flood water can also cause open wounds to become infected. After the water recedes, doctors often see an uptick in patients with respiratory infections due to the presence of mold, which grows quickly in warm, damp environments and can exacerbate asthma or trigger allergies. Studies also show that hurricanes and floods can trigger anxiety, depression, and stress, and also existing mental health problems or even lead to new ones. In other news, Senator Jeanette Millen-Young stated recently that too often in our government we are faced with issues of corruption, collusion, indecency, dishonesty, and more. Further, the senator stated that many times these issues go unresolved until the damage has made a lasting impact. As such, the senator proposed a bill in the Rules and Judiciary floor to address corruption in the government. News 2 Stephanie Brown reports.
Senator Milling Young introduced Bill 32-0003 today in a Rules and Judiciary legislative hearing. The bill seeks to establish a Virgin Islands Commission of Ethics and Conflicts Board consisting of 7 members that would be responsible for establishing procedures for investigating, enforcing, and appealing ethical and conflict of interest violations of public officers and government employees. Milling Young stated publicly that in the past few years, she has seen a number of former government officials who have been charged and convicted of crimes and whose crimes had affected all aspects of our community. Most recently, in June of this year, the Attorney General Claude Walker announced that former BMV Director Jerris Brown and a former government IT administrator, as well as an outside contractor, Saeed Giuliani, were arrested on multiple charges stemming from alleged schemes to defraud the government of federal funds, which would have provided the territory's driver's license program to be in Real ID compliance.
And this is a classic example of how public corruption actually holds back the territory. As I said, Alabama, Maryland, go down the list, Georgia, Florida, they all applied and received funds for this same program. We applied, received the funding. They're Real ID compliant, we're not.
However, Attorney Walker was not in accordance with Milling Young.
There is no support for claims that state ethics commissions, including bipartisan and non-bipartisan commissions, serve to reduce political corruption. Further, an examination by the Center for Public Integrity revealed that many of the ethics commissions do little more than provide a false sense of security.
For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
Well, keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch with the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers, we can see everything's up. The Dow 39, Nasdaq 6, S&P up 4. Coming up on News 2, the Office of Highway Safety's Drive Sober initiative. They say Labor Day holiday is one of the deadliest times of the year. We'll find out why. Coming up next. Welcome back. Just a quick note to our viewers, News 2 will not be aired on Monday, September 4th due to the Labor Day holiday. It will be preempted by a special, and we return to our regular scheduled programming on Tuesday, September 5th. Be sure to tune in at 7 p.m. for all the latest. Remember to follow us on Facebook for news updates. Well, police are asking for your assistance in locating Miss Regina Gilliam. Miss Gilliam is a 26-year-old black female, about 5'4", 200 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. Police say Miss Gilliam is a passenger aboard the Carnival Splendor cruise ship at the West Indian Company dock at Havenside. She left the ship at 8:19 a.m. on Thursday and did not return back upon the ship's departure on Thursday afternoon. Police say if you come in contact or know the whereabouts of Regina Gilliam, please call the VIPD at 340-774-2211 or 911. Well, the Office of Highway Safety's 2017 Drive Sober initiative is underway. They say the Labor Day holiday is one of the deadliest times of the year due to drunk driving. The Virgin Islands Police Department is ramping up its enforcement efforts as part of a national crackdown on drunk driving from August 29th, kicked off already until September 4th. Here's more. During the fiscal year 2016, there was a total of 1,492 crashes in the St. Croix district. 36 of those crashes are attributed to impaired driving. There were 6 traffic fatalities within the district. According to the VIPD, 2 of those fatalities were related to impaired driving.
I am the Alcohol Safety Coordinator, and I'm here to warn the public about the initiative that we have going on.
A 7-day high-visibility campaign called Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over is under partnership with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Know that we have patrol checkpoints, DUI checkpoints all over the island, and we'll be cracking down on drunk driving. I want everybody to take the initiative and be careful. If you choose to drink and drive and you put yourself at risk, know that you're not putting yourself at risk only, you're risking the lives of others on the road. road. I want you guys to practice being safe. Prevention is better than cure.
In accordance with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, 35,092 people died in traffic crashes in 2015 in the U.S., including an estimated 10,265 people who were killed in drunk driving crashes. Local drivers should expect to see more patrol vehicles, DUI checkpoints, and increased messaging about this reckless, preventable crime.
If you're on this driving and you see a friend on the drinking and getting ready to get in a vehicle, stop them. How about you call an officer to get you home, or you be a designated driver and get that loved one home, preventing them from we losing another life here in the Virgin Islands. Police officers are here to help. The community is here to help you guys, and please practice safe driving. Be safe.
The schools have been toured by the governor and educational officials, and they are satisfactory according to what they reported. School begins on Tuesday. And the Ross Cares VI Born Give Back program has been in the making since 2015, and Delroy Ross, my classmate, said he was excited to finally bring it into existence and fulfill that dream just in time for back to school. He did what he dreamed of and gave back to the children of St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. He supplied 150 lucky youngsters with backpacks, notebooks, pens, pencils, erasers, rulers, pencil sharpeners, glue sticks, crayons, and more, even words of encouragement flyers. St. Andrew's Episcopal Church, the Nana Baby Children Home, Caribbean Ritual Dancers Studio, and Family Resource Centers, Inc. were the first recipients of the Ross Cares VI Born Give Back program. He said he was so grateful and thankful that this event has come to fruition, and he said he was able to assist with providing the students with some key essentials to help them succeed. He said growing up on the island of St. Thomas was the absolute best, and I wouldn't change it for the world. It's where I was born and where I learned my valuable life lessons. The selfless act of helping others, he said, was embedded into my siblings and by our mother. The St. Croix Educational Complex High School Student Council and Administration, they are announcing the first annual Barra's Back to School Carnival that's being held on Saturday, September 2nd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the school's East Field, nearest to the teacher's parking lot. The event is open to students of the St. Croix Educational Complex only, so you have to have ID or proof of enrollment is required for admittance. The event is free of charge with games, music, food, and school supplies being given away. The St. Croix Chamber of Commerce continues to attract new members at an amazing rate. Late last week, the Chamber added another Frederiksted business with a ribbon cutting of the Tap Deck Bar and Billiards. That's located upstairs overlooking the Frederiksted Pier. The Tap Deck came to be thanks to owner Emily Watson, who also owns Lyric Sales.
I have Lyric Sales already, which is a sailboat charter business in Frederiksted, and I was tired of telling people when they asked me after the sale, where should we go? And I had a couple places to tell them, and I needed more. So I really wanted to open a more high-end, classic cocktail and beer and wine lounge in Frederiksted, which was something we were lacking.
Less than a month, and we've got two great events here with new businesses in Frederiksted. I mean, like I said, we always love to come to Frederiksted, but there's such a renaissance going on here out west that we want everybody to come out and experience these new businesses. And from what we're hearing, there's even more to come in the future. So Frederiksted really is the new great place to be. So come out and support the new businesses in Frederiksted, as well as all the new businesses that we have coming up in Christiansted as well.
I've been part of the Chamber of Commerce for the last year and a half with Lyric Sales and now with Tap Deck. It's a wonderful networking opportunity. They do great work on island, advocating for small businesses, and it's just a fantastic organization that just does lots of good work in St. Croix.
And congrats to them. Well, here is something fun to plan for the weekend. It's that time of year again for the annual Mama Daya Rib Cook-Off, sponsored by Crew de Croix. Above the cliff on St. Croix's North Shore is the place to be, beginning at 3 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. Local restaurants, chefs, and rib experts will be showing off their expertise for all to taste. That looks good. There's also live music by Hot Mama and the Flamethrowers. And rumor has it, News2 Sports' Gary Anthony will join the band to sing a blues favorite. Hopefully we get some video of that. Rib lovers are asked to bring a non-perishable food item or clothing that will be donated to One Love, a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping the homeless. Well, we have more on the weather, the latest on Irma. Mark Mancuso has your News2 AccuWeather forecast that's coming up next. We'll be right back.
We'll see a few showers around during the overnight hours and the day on Saturday as a tropical wave works its way out across the northeast Caribbean. This one's rather weak, doesn't have a lot of moisture to work with. Of course, our main concern will be Irma, which continues to churn out across the central Atlantic. Let's take a look. The particulars: winds about 110 miles an hour. Movement off to the west-northwest about 13. Hurricane force winds are in a small area near the center, only extending out about 10 to 20 miles. Tropical storm force winds out about 90 miles from the center of circulation, but that will change as the system moves west and gets a little bit stronger. As we look at our forecast for tonight, we'll have partly cloudy skies, perhaps a spotty shower in the area, but nothing serious. Our low around 79. Looking at the forecast for St. John for tomorrow, a couple of showers passing by with our tropical wave, and the same will be true here in St. Thomas. A few showers around as that wave moves across. Temperatures in the upper 80s, near 90 in St. Croix, and a few showers around as well. As we take a look at the marine forecast for you, wave heights in the Atlantic 2 to 4 feet, winds easterly 10 to 15 knots. In the Caribbean, waves about 1 to 3 feet, northeasterly winds about 10 to 15 knots. Main emphasis on the extended forecast will be on Irma as it churns its way to the west. As it does work its way west, it'll be moving underneath subtropical high pressure ridge there, so that will direct to west-southwest, and it will get a little stronger too, becoming a major hurricane as it gets closer to the Leeward Islands early in the week. So it looks like Tuesday into Wednesday, that's when Irma will be making its closest approach, but a little too early to tell exactly where it's going. So just a few showers are put in the extended forecast, but certainly a lot can change, and we'll keep you updated. Back to you, Sandy.
Thank you, Mark. Here's our News2 weather picture there by Jada Ross of Great Minds Summer Learning Academy, showing off some great colors, and we could see you included some sunshine there. Jada, school kicks off. Have a great weekend, and send us your News2 weather picture right there to the address on the screen, and tune in to see it right here on News2. Well, here's one more event before we leave you to add to your list of things to do. Looking for funding opportunities or some ways to repair your credit? All American Concierge is presenting Ms. Ifat Walker, who is the senior business consultant and author from Atlanta, Georgia, and that's on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Evolution Restaurant in Orgata in the Professional Building, which is right next to the Fort Christian parking lot on St. Thomas. You can call 340-777-2662 to register. I'm Sandra Guman saying thank you for watching. Have a great weekend, and we will see you on Tuesday.
Directly with small businesses and looking at ways to grow businesses, small business, through access to capital. That's one of the biggest reasons that small businesses fail, is because they can start up easily, but they cannot maintain. They cannot access capital in order to grow their businesses. So we're going to be talking about what that looks like, what it means for small businesses to use their EIN number as opposed to their Social Security number, and why it's important to develop business credit separately from personal credit. As a fellow Virgin Islander, realistically a Savanero from the Venzan and Saleh families, it's very important to me to bring resources back and to bring information back right here to the territory where we know that access to capital is extremely limited. We really want as many of and invite the small businesses in the territory to come out this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Seating is extremely limited. Unfortunately, we only have room for 30 business owners, so we need you to register today. Register now, and that registration number is 340-777-2662. Seating is extremely limited.